do notice for the I wanted to, read all those names you recognize. President Joarina, GS also very important in this project because he's the one who started me on this journey with our presentation of AI and the church. But I also want to recognize Maruti Barena and thank you very much, Muruti Mklope. Muruti Mklope heke mona ke hopla lenyalo la ka ba kena nyadisitse ka Thursday ke sign up go greki. Yeah, so I never forget that. Muruti Mashau re share the initials re go DJ Naliena and I must also remember my pastor Muruti Wali Sedi Baptist Church Muruti Makena. And thank you very much. Bazalwane, let me just get into this. I'm going to try to do it in 45 minutes. You're like 23 slides. So usually, if you are presenting 23 slides, you'll do it in 23 minutes. But the truth is, I wanted to spend a lot of time on the slides. But I'm very comforted by the fact that you have that copy. So you will have a chance to go through it. And we're going to talk about AI, artificial intelligence. And I have some points about it. One of them, and I think this is also very important to know, it's just a tool. It's a tool. It's a special tool, but it is a tool. Yeah. What is artificial intelligence? It's a machine. Is technology that tries to replicate human intelligence. And what do we mean by human intelligence? By human intelligence, we mean doing things that the human being can do. What can a human being do? They can think, they can plan, they can analyze, they can make decisions, they can take comparisons, they can make judgments. So we have machines now that can do all of it. They can replicate human intelligence. Now, it's important to know that human beings have been creating tools for many years. And one of the tools that we like very much as Bazalwane is reading and writing. It's a tool. So if you today say, I don't want to learn artificial intelligence, it's the same thing as somebody telling you, I don't want to learn how to read and write. And just imagine if you didn't know how to read and write, what information will not be available to you? What will you not know? People will be able to, if you didn't know how to read and write, they'll even be able to write something they know you can't read it because you look at it, you don't see anything. Right now, because we have mastered this tool, reading and writing tool, we can do a lot of things. You can send each other letters, we can keep information. The Bible itself will not be possible without that tool. Because otherwise you'd have to listen to me telling you, I heard somebody say this and you can just imagine how before long the information will be mixed up and lost. So reading and writing has allowed us to keep a lot of information. And that today we appreciate our Bibles. But I'm making this point so that you understand that this tool is like that. It's so fundamental, it's so important that if you don't learn it, it's not anybody else who's going to lose. It's you, because you will be the one who has a tool and not able to use it. Okay. There are other tools. When I started learning more about AI, we're trying to look at the importance of this technology, of this tool. And the best thing we could say is that it's like fire. Now, fire, you don't know it's a technology because you are used to it and it's easy to make. But fire was difficult. And fire, you had to, move some sticks to be able to get it. It wasn't just as easy as we get it now. There's a matches, just put it on, and it wasn't like that. It was a very difficult technology that other people had learned to do it and they used it. What did fire do for us? This thing is cutting there, but there are many things that fire did for us. It protected us. It made us able to eat some food. There were food you couldn't eat. There were foods you couldn't eat. But if you cook them, you could eat them. if you cook them, you could eat them, and that. But also fire, if you use it incorrectly, it can burn you. It can hurt you. So this technology is similar to those ones where it's very useful, very powerful, but can also be destructive. Where does AI come from? I'm going to talk a little bit. But the AI that you are hearing a lot about now is what is called generative AI. The AI before could do things, but it wasn't generating information. The one that we are using now is generating things. You can create pictures of you. You can take a woman wearing her clothes and make her naked, and be able to see things that you shouldn't be able to see. But this technology can generate things, and that's where the power is and the worries are. But we'll look at that. These are the industrial revolutions. You will hear people talking about the first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, the third, and the fourth. They are interesting in their own rights, just learning about it. If you look at, for example, the second industrial revolution, what was so fundamental about it was the fact that you moved work to the worker. That was what was fundamental about it. Before then, when they were making a car, I would have to go put in some pieces, then take it, the work to another guy who will come and fetch it and do that. But with the second industrial revolution, we started having mechanization. So I would sit here and the engine will come, put in 2, 3, 4 things, you move to the next one. And because of that, we were able to just multiply, mechanize things and do things. But mass production, assembly line, and electricity. And all those little things, the power of those little things was changing how things were done. So right now, we're talking about ourselves being in the fourth industrial revolution. Just put in the times, you will see it there, when they had the steam engine, because they used steam as power there. It was, you could make clothing very fast. Before you had to use your legs, those machines where you sew and you have to use your legs, you get tired. But if you now didn't have to use your legs, you could use water, moving in a pool, in the river. You could get that done without you having to work. So that's where it started, and then electricity and so on. So what is AI? I've already given many definitions, but this one I want to let you know that it was only in 1940 that the people started sitting down, writing in a conference about what is this thing? What can we do using it? So, I'll leave it there. This is myself. It's a picture that makes me look taller than I am, so I like it very much. But this is just a little bit about myself. 1983, I went to study electrical engineering at UCT. 1990, I went to Brown University. I worked on hidden Markov models. I completed my PhD. But I completed my PhD during the time that we call AI winter. Now, there were times when there was AI summer and the times when there were AI winter. AI summer, everybody was saying, AI is going to change the whole world, going to make all of the things. AI winter is when we realized it's not as easy as that. For example, in my PhD, when I was doing my doctoral studies, I was trying to make a computer hear you when you speak, to know what you are saying. So I tell people, the first year I was there at Brown University, I was sure, in 3 years, I'm going to solve this problem. When I left 5 years later, I was sure we'll never solve it. Because I was convinced this is so difficult. Because you realize that things that we think are so easy, they're not that easy for the computer. Right now, I can walk, I can run, but to make a computer that can do that, it has to calculate the air pressure. It has to calculate how it's sitting. It has to calculate so many things. And we just thought, oh, well, that's good. We'll never get there. Human beings can never get there. But that was during the AI winter. When the AI summer came, they knew they could do it. Right now, there's a problem that AI has not been able to solve, self-driving cars. They've been working on it. They want to get there. And hopefully one day we'll get there, where we have cars that will come and fetch you from here, take you home, drive you on the highways. Right now, it cannot be done. It's very, very difficult problem. Okay, I wanted to show you, this is the systems I was using. And this system here, the number I want you to notice, this one here, 2,400 parameters. So I worked on this problem using this, and it took 3 to 5 hours for me to train my system and to make it work. So using this system, we knew that we'll never solve the problem. So what has happened? Right now, where we are now, the systems that are being used, they take 1.7 trillion parameters. Yeah, during our time, we couldn't even think about it. But now AI is doing that. So what is AI doing? Well, AI, just here, I hope I didn't touch. Yeah, the basic thing is this thing here. Very, very important, but let me see if I can take it to you. What AI is doing is actually not doing anything interesting. It's just completing a sentence. It's just completing one sentence. During my time, we could complete sentences for small paragraphs, only that. What is happening now? You can give AI something, and it can go write a book for you. Just from that small thing, because it's completing. You give it something like Mary had a little, it calculates what is the probability that the next word is lamb, boy, or girl. And based on all the information it has, it knows what the next one should be. And it will be, Mary had a little lamb. It will know that because why? It has found that information too many times. It never saw, it probably did meet, when it was looking at the data, it did meet Mary had a little boy. It did meet Mary had a little girl. But those ones, the probability of those ones coming up was so small. Mary had a little lamb was bigger. So that's what it's doing. And based on that, it's able to complete. You can make it write a movie about it. Let me see if I'm going to get it there. What can you use AI for? And I have discussions with people, and I'm trying not to argue too much. But you can use it for Bible study. You can use it for Bible study. It will give you all the information in the world about anything that has ever been written. All those concordances, the exhaustive commentaries, it has that information because it has been copied in it. You want to plan a sermon, it can do that. It can even check your sermon for you to say your sermon is okay, or this is what is lacking in my sermon. Can do that. You can give it. You can make it give you a sermon in isiZulu, even if you don't know it. isiXhosa, even if you don't know it. I can tell it, AI, I want you to write a sermon. I want to preach on John 10, verse 15. And AI will do it. It will write it for you. It will give you a sermon in Siberi. I tell it, oh, I'm at a funeral now. I don't know what to say. It's a funeral of a friend. You give it the background. It's a funeral of a friend, and this is my relationship with them. Tell me what most comforting words from the scriptures that are. By the way, all of us have AI. Ne? Yeah. If you have WhatsApp, you have AI. Yeah. You know how to find it on your WhatsApp. You just go to your WhatsApp. On top, you'll see that AI button there. You can go into that button, and then you can ask it questions. You can ask it. The things I'm saying to you here, you go to it. Yeah, I see somebody's looking at it. But no, are you on WhatsApp? Yeah. And can you see the AI? No. You're on WhatsApp. Just go on WhatsApp. Get out again. It might know how old they are and so. Yeah. So what is the shortest verse in the Bible? Yeah. Which verse is it? Yeah. So you ask AI that question, and I asked it, and it told me, or no, Bazalwani, that was John 11, verse 35. Mara is wrong. Mara is wrong. Let me see if I get to that slide. Okay, so this is what the part I was telling you about the number of parameters. I just wanted you to compare the number of parameters, 1.76 trillion parameters versus 10 telling 2,400. Or how powerful this is. So it's more powerful than that one. Yeah, okay, what can you use AI for? I'll see if I get there. You can plan a trip and tell it, I want to go on a trip. I want to spend 10 days there and I must spend it on the nicest days of the year and tell me when to book it, and it will do all of it. It will check the weather, pick up the weather forecast and all of that information and make sure that the day you go there, it doesn't rain. It may be a little bit. so you can say, plan a trip for me, write a paper for me. By the way, already by those who have their phones and who have already accessed it the way I told you around it, you can ask it all those questions. Already, if you have your phone on WhatsApp, you tick on that button there, you can ask it some of these questions and it will do it for you. The problem it will need is your context. It will want you to give it more context. Write a paper, write a sermon for me. What must I do in the church if X, Y, Z happens? How to do it safely according to the laws of South Africa. It will tell you that. It will tell you that these are the labor laws in this country. If you do this, they can do this and that to you. So be careful. It can do that. Why can it do it? Because that information is there. It's just you who don't know it, but it's there. And the AI information has been taken in. Give me a list of ideas on how we can grow the church. What must I do if I meet a Jehovah's Witness or a Mormon to leave me alone? If I want a Jehovah's Witness coming to visit me, I want them to leave me alone. What must I do? You can ask it. It will give you tips how to be nice and how to do that. Write a church policy on giving, property use, and we have tried some of these tools, and it does it. And why can it do it? Because somebody somewhere did write a policy on the church, so it's not doing anything. It's not like it's brilliant. It's just using information it has already gained from somewhere else. Because what AI has done, it's collected all the information in the world. A learning tool, test ideas, summarize a book for me. It can give answers to questions. How many disciples did Jesus have? What is the shortest verse in the Bible? And this is the one I was talking about. I want to talk a little bit more about it. Preach John 11, verse 35 in Sepedi. They'll write you a nice sermon about it. And you can try it now. Say, preach John 11 in Sepedi. For me, make a sermon 2 hours. And it will also make that sermon 2 hours. So this one for John 11, verse 35 is very interesting because it says that the shortest verse is John 11, verse 35. Jesus wept, and he told me that this is what the Christians will say to you, but they are wrong. The shortest verse is Job 3, verse 2. Maybe somebody can check it quickly. Job 3, verse 2.
Shortest.
Job 3, verse 2. Shortest.
The other one 10 words, the other one 6 words.
Yeah, he said. So Job 3, verse 2. You are the shortest verse. More NIV, he said. Yeah, not Jesus information. You don't have to learn what I'm doing. Yeah. That is the shortest in Greek. The second. In the verse is finished.
But this one is the second.
The second end. Oh, look, it's the end with it. Yeah. But most that's in Greek because this one is looking at in Greek. The second. Just So it can do. You can do a Bible study and so on. I don't think that necessarily there's anything wrong with it. When I do Bible studies, we had a series, Holy Sadie Baptist Church, on looking at the minor prophets. And our interest was to find out what is the message of the minor prophet. What are the key verses in the minor prophet. So every Sunday, when we did our Bible study, we went through a minor prophet, we looked at the minor prophet and said, what do we learn from here? What do we learn from here? And we used ChatGPT, and I did make them aware that I'm using AI to do that. But it was a useful lesson because you learn about Hosea and you learn what is the message here. You learn about Haggai. What is the message here? You learn about the one that we like, Malachi, for tithing, and and you learn when you look at it, you realize there's so much more, so much more. I mean, Malachi starts first by talking about the sacrifices that you give your king. Will your king be happy with the sacrifices that you give to me? You come to me with crippled animals. So if you look at the book of Malachi, you realize, wow, there's so much. I mean, there's issues about divorce, about people trying. So there's so much, but most of the time, as can a man rob me? Can a man rob God? Okay. On DeepSeek, which is free as well, write a policy on a church building use, and I did it, I tried it. It gave me those paragraphs. And I asked the question, why is generative AI able to do this? It's able to do this because it has looked, it has seen billions of policies. It has. When they were training it. There's a building use policy, there are millions of church policies. We can argue that you are unlikely to do better than it. Or I was just saying that we can argue we can't do better than it. Because it has the information that is all over the world that other people have put into it. Having said that, we must remember that it's like fire, it can burn you. And there are two government ministries that are banned right now in South Africa because of it. Because why? Because the people wrote the document. They told AI to write the document that they gave it to the minister. And the AI wrote a very nice document. It gave it to the minister. It has very nice policies, but the document is false. The references that it says, somebody said, it's all lies. It's doing what is called hallucinations. And AI hallucinates a lot. It will never say, I can't answer that question. It can never know. Everything it will give you an answer. And it gives it so convincingly that you might believe it, but actually it's a lie. So whatever it gives you, even if it gives you a sermon, right now, you ask it to prepare a sermon for you or a specific chat. Even after it did that, you must check it. Yeah, because sometimes it's going to put in things that are not there. It's just going to scream about some things. In isiZulu or Xhosa, it dreams about those things and put them in there. So you need to be careful about it. Where can I get AI? On WhatsApp, you have Meta AI. It's not really as powerful, and it's not so easy to ask it questions. But it's one of the AIs. The one that I like the most is Perplexity. This is the one I use. The ones I'm paying for every month is ChatGPT because I like ChatGPT. But there are almost thousands of these things. There are thousands. The best one right now that I use, and I don't have information to show you, but the best one that I use now is called Notebook LM. So I got so excited one day. Muruti, you're talking about taking care of visitors. Today was smile after church. Sometimes they come room here like you. Smile, be happy. How are you? We are very happy that you are here. Give me several information. Arrest no phone numbers. I actually know. So I do that, and I've been doing it, and I now know I've been doing it since 2024, September 2024. So I did that. I was doing that, keeping it in the computer. So I learned about Notebook LM about 3 weeks ago. I put that information in 3 weeks ago. I asked Notebook LM, all I have is a spreadsheet of names of people and on their day they are there. I don't have any connecting information. But I asked it, who brings the most people in church? And it told me, it's Mrs. Mudau, And the first time Mrs. Mashau came to church was on this day. And on these days and days, she brought so and so, and she brought so and so in the church. And I was just amazed that this system that doesn't know anything, I just gave it the data, and I just had to call Muruti. I don't call Muruti too many times, but I had to call Muruti. Muruti, just imagine, it has told us in the church what is happening. It's able to know who's inviting more people in church, when did they come in, and who did they come up with? Who did they come with? And it's able to do that. So that's called Notebook LM. It's a Google one. You can give it any information. I gave it, I have solar at home. So I gave it my solar data and I asked it, how much has this system cost me? How much has it saved me to date? And it did a calculation for me. It told me, oh no, you're spending this much. Your best day of solar is this. And without me saying anything, all I did is just to give it a spreadsheet. If we had time, I was going to show you that because I still have that evidence. But it's able to do things like those that appears like it's so intelligent. It appears like it knows all of this. It appears like it knows all of the things. But yes, it does, because it's able to use the information it's got. I think I'm doing very well on time because I was intending to finish at quarter past. What can AI not do? There are some things it cannot do. It doesn't feel like you. No. Other people might look at your feelings as a weakness. They might say you are supposed to punish somebody for doing wrong. You say, hey, shame, hey, what, and all of those things. So it might look it as a weakness, but it doesn't do it. It doesn't, if it decides this is the right thing to do, and you ask it what is the right thing to do, it'll do it. If it decides there's an issue right now that's going in the courts between Elon Musk and Sam Altman. Yeah. And Elon Musk says, it's going to kill us. It's going to decide, hey, human beings are not useful. They're not doing anything for me. Why should they be alive? And decide, let's eliminate all of them. So that's a fear. When we get to the AI, the AI we have right now is not, it's AI that's doing all these amazing things. It can book flights for you. It can tell you about what's going to happen. It does a lot of things for you, but it cannot think for itself. It cannot think for it. It doesn't decide. The next AI that they are working on, some of you might know Anthropic did not release the latest model because they're saying it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous because people, cyber criminals could use it to hack your phone. They can use it to hack your credit card. So they're not releasing it. But that AI is not as dangerous as the one after that. The one after that is going to decide for itself. Anthropic refused the US Army to use their models because they don't want it. They don't want it to be told, go kill people, and it has to decide how to kill somebody effectively. And you might also know right now some of the companies are in court because AI told somebody how to go shoot other kids in a way that they will never be found. It gave them ideas on how you do it. You can get a gun like this, you see that this place, and you do that, and they did it. So the issue is the AI company responsible for the way those kids died or not? Because, and you can do that. I mean, you can sit there. Other people have spent time with AI and have decided that your life is not worth living, and they've killed themselves. Because AI said, no, your life. not you. And somebody decided to go and kill themselves. And there are about 2 cases where people have done it. They've decided to do it. So it is that dangerous. But on the other hand, it is just a tool. It doesn't know. It gets to the complexity of what we are dealing with. Because what we are dealing with, we don't realize how complex it is. We don't know what is consciousness. We don't know what it is. You can't hold it in your hand. We don't know. We know it exists, but we don't know what is it. Yeah, it's very, it's like coming to the definition of God. You know, and right now people say, if God can do this, hey, we are, the reality that we see, the reality that we see, let me explain to you, the reality that we see as human beings. That reality is like somebody coming to me, Prof Mashau, more computer nyaga, only garbage bin. It ain't garbage bin, more computer. It ain't. Oh, I do. What's your computer only zeros and ones. That's it. Come on a computer. How many things are, even the colors you see is not there in a computer. What is in the memory is 0 and 1. The voltage is fair. Come on a computer. The thing we want to like user interface. We create the user interface so that you can operate the computer. It's those things will not be files come on a computer. Only files come on a computer. No, but they're not files in the computer. Yeah. Not technology. Yeah. All of the things is a user interface. Is how we create it so that you can use it to do something. It's not that those things exist. There's no garbage bin in a computer. There are only zeros and ones on a computer. But somebody writes a program that helps you to interact with the computer in a way that you think is useful, so you can send an email. In a computer, there's no A, B, C, there's just zeros and ones. Only the voltages, they change up. But somebody wrote a user interface so that you can then deal with the computer. So, going back to reality now. In reality, what is the concept of God? Because right now what we are doing, our problem is that we're trying to humanize these things. We're trying to make them physical as though they exist. But nobody knows what is beyond the veil, beyond the veil that we see. What we are seeing here is just a user interface that's made up for us. It's very nice. It makes things look like they are continuous and they work. But it's not necessarily there. It's not what is there. It's just a user interface. I hope I'm not confusing you too much. But I just want you to realize God is great and we don't even understand. What we are given, what we are dealing with is just the little bit of what we are able to handle. Yeah, it's not the reality. So even for example, many people confuse mind and the brain. The brain is a physical thing. AI, they were trying to copy the brain, but you can't copy the mind. So the mind is that kind of material like consciousness. It's something that can travel from here. What mind how family, how is the family doing? What is the family? That's your mind. It can travel like that. It's not constrained by your body. Your body constrains your brain, but it doesn't constrain your mind. Because your mind is another material. Yeah. No, let's yeah. So it lacks ethics. You have to define the ethics for it, emotional intelligence. It lacks true, and it doesn't know what it's saying. It will give you the right answers, but it doesn't really know, it doesn't feel the answer. When you feel it. Why would you but AI doesn't feel the answer. It just gives it to you. No original ideas, depends on the training data. For example, part of the problem is that because these systems sometimes are trained in America, they don't recognize black faces. Because the people they train with are white people. So the security, when you get into the airport, and they're trying to fix it now so that it can see you when you but before it didn't, it only saw white people. Problem with AI, hallucinations, where it just like this dreaming things, creation of false information, it's all pretense, it can be biased. Never let it do anything completely for you without your involvement. Policy instruments why I go chat GPT, I want to write a policy for our church, and we don't want to be giving people our instruments. let's write. It will write the policy, but read it first. Read it, go through it. It's a sensible and before it's entering it. The policy change. So you was asking me about a lot of the policies that in Chat GPT for adding one. Okay. Oh yeah. For adding one. And there's no problem. Let Chat GPT write the policy, read it, and bring it to the church. There was a lot. When we the policy that Chat GPT, let's go through it line by line and think about it. Does it really reflect who we are or who we want to be? Then there's nothing wrong. ChatGPT has helped you. Yeah, it's a tool. It helps you to do that, but you must go through it. The problem comes when people want it to do everything for them. They want to make a judgment, a case judgment. We want to find this guy guilty. Write a court judgment about it. That's what these guys are doing. And then it starts hallucinating. It still finds the guy guilty, but it has created some of the information along the way by itself. And the information is not true. And you bring it to the judge. The judge is going to get angry because you are quoting cases that never existed. And so don't let it do everything completely. Né? But using it, after I gave this lecture at the assembly, there were some other Christians who were telling me about the logos that they were making for their organizations and so on. And it was great. It made logos for them. You have an organization, so you create a nice logo for my organization, and I want to put it in my document. But do go through it yourself so that you can be sure. For us as children of God, it's a tool. It's a useful tool. It combines all known information. And it's not alive. It doesn't have the spirit. It doesn't. Yeah, it's you who inputs it. You are the one who thinks that it does. And people get, by the way, they get girlfriends, AI girlfriends. And the AI girlfriends are very nice, you know. You are in a meeting, then they call you, your phone rings, and then you can pretend like, and you're not pretending. Say, hi, how are you? I love you. No, I'm fine. And are you doing well? I see you in your calendar, you're supposed to be doing this and this. Are you on track with the job? You can do that. And people do that, and they really begin to believe like this is and that something cares about it and nothing does. You know, I was at a church, and I can remember Mowbray Baptist Church. We had Reverend Folker, who was our pastor, and Mamuruti was telling us for a widow when I did other church members, hey, old ladies, you know about how would I live on? Okay, Babambare, hey, and Mamuruti, Arabelle Chelsea Tamik, showing us, what's about to prayer? Was far away. You know, so these people were looking at these shows on TV, and they were treating them like it's a real thing, you know, and they're even asking the Lord, let's pray for so and so. I saw yesterday, you know, they're gonna grab that guy because he's doing this and this wrong and so on. So sometimes people get to that level where they think this is alive. AI is not alive. There is no spirit. It amazes me when it analyzes the record for my church. It amazes me when it analyzes how many weeks, which months do most people come to church, because I have 2 years information. So I can ask it just a question. Which month do we get more visitors? Which month do we have people coming in and say they are saved? And you can answer me, you can tell me, oh, your best month during Easter. And it does that, it tells me that. Yeah. But I can go back and check the information and see that, yeah, it's correct. This is the best month that we have many people visiting our church versus other times. So it's useful in that sense, but it's not a human being. It doesn't have the spirit. It doesn't even know what it's doing. It's just analyzing data. Yeah, and that's how we must treat it. So treat it as a useful tool, but do not believe there's somebody alive there. And the answers it gives you must check them, because sometimes they are wrong, very wrong. It assumes other things and so on. So be careful of that. We should be careful, yeah? It's not God, it's not human, it does not have a conscience. It's not alive, It can be lively, it can be very nice, it can entertain you. It knows how to entertain you. It knows what, I mean, it gets to know, and I didn't like that, because you ask it a question about something else, and then it doesn't forget that 6 months ago I asked it something. It knows that, 6 months ago you were asking about this car. Now you're talking about this car. This car is like this. Right now, you can ask it, which car should I buy if I have only 500,000? To tell you. It will go look for you and say, no, these cars are like this, these are the benefits, and so. And it knows a lot about you from the questions you asked it. And that's why some other people don't want to touch it, because it keeps the information. Let's use it to give us ideas, but not instruction. Church attendance, visitors follow-up, yeah. The church should embrace it like it embraced all this. Yeah, I think this one the church should embrace it like it embraced writing and reading and writing. Do not fear it. Fear a man or a woman who knows how to use it. Because a man or woman who knows how to use it, they can even fool you. Because they can ask it, how do I make this person believe this thing, even though it's wrong? And AI will come up with ideas. This is what you do. You can look at the feedback. After you have said this, you can check their responses and so on. So it's dangerous in that sense, because it can interfere with you. That's a learning. I wanted to tell you about agentic AI, but we'll talk about it next time. Agentic AI is the AI that does things for you without you being there. But you tell it what it must do. And it's a big thing now. When you see these layoffs at companies, it's because of this. Because now, instead of having a secretary, I can work by myself in a whole company. I can replace a whole work shift by myself, and I'm using this agentic AI. So it's a next level of it. Yeah, thank you, Bazamani. I don't know if there are any questions.